Alrighty, let's get into it. So, thank you for joining the Twincast. It's the podcast where business and faith are our foundation, and a good laugh is always on the house. We're identical twin sisters navigating the real estate world one deal at a time. I'm Cherie, your go-to lender, helping you with all things finance. And I'm Nicole, your favorite realtor, helping you find the perfect place to call home. The Twincast starts now. All right, let's jump into it. So, you wanted to talk about home buyer myths that buyers still believe in. Well, I got a few things that buyers that are definitely myths that buyers still believe in. So, excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather, but we have things we got to talk about. So, because people are out there scouting to buy houses or maybe on the fence, and we need to talk to y'all about it. So, one of them, a big one that I hear all the time is, I'll wait until I can buy my dream home. Now, waiting until you can buy your dream home. Um, I'm actually glad that I didn't wait until I could buy my dream home, and I'll tell you why. When I purchased my first home, I didn't have any kids, and it was about 20 years ago when I purchased it. But I didn't have any kids, and I did have someone there. Well, I had several people in my corner, but one particular was my mom, and she told me we were looking at a three-bedroom house, and then we had seen one that was four bedrooms, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was still in the same neighborhood. But either ways, she said, Nicole, buy the four-bedroom home. You'd never know. You're going to have kids later and you can grow into it. And I will say that that was probably one of the best piece of advice that I got because I did grow into that home. I had two kids later and my stepson. And so we did grow into it. And I stayed in that home for about 10 years. And so, but not only did that help, I didn't wait. We purchased and I grew into the home, but I also built equity into that home. So I was able to keep that home and still have it now. And I have equity in it. And if I ever wanted to sell that home, I could use that money for anything else. So I want to say, don't wait to buy your dream home because you can always do something different. You can sell your home, but you have something to sell. Yes, Nicole, you're skipping over to the part that yes, you didn't buy your dream home because a lot of times people think, well, I want to buy the home that has land. I want to make sure that I'm able to, get a couple of acres and have, the perfect home that's, it doesn't have to be your perfect home, and especially if you're a new couple or if you're just young, single, it's your first home, whatever it is. I mean, if it's just buy the home, and not saying buy something that, is a bad investment, but I'm saying buy an investment that you know that later on you can turn around and sell it. It will propel you to your dream home because and then that when you bought your first home, now you know what to look for your real dream home. If you had bought the dream home that you thought that was 10 years ago, it would not look like the home that you are in right now. And I'm afraid that it would have been a home, but it wouldn't have been your dream home, and you'd be buying another one, that really would fit the bill of a dream home. So I'm glad that you decided to do that at that young age of buying a home. Young age. Yes, still young. Yeah, still somewhat young. Wow. Okay, so that's yours. That's one of yours. We'll do a you go, I go. Okay. Okay. What you got? Okay, so I would say people say, I'm going to wait until I pay off all my debt, and that's when I'm going to buy my home. Listen, although that sounds great, and I love Dave Ramsey, thinks he does, he has a great perspective on, paying off debt and things like that. You do need credit to buy a home. And there are some, unique situations where you don't have to have, like, you literally can have no credit score, and I can help you with those situations. However, most of the time you aren't people just we just don't live in a world where you can have no debt and buy a house. That's just very unlikely. Like I said, we have a few options that you would be able to go through, but let's be realistic. For the 99% of the rest of the people out there, right, you need credit. So whenever you pay off debt, actually it hurts your credit score. So because what happens is the credit industry looks at it like, okay, they've just paid off all this debt. What's going to happen now? They have already built a payment history of making those payments on time. Now they've gotten rid of everything. How do we know the new debt that they've created, they would be able to pay it on time? You have to build a history. So I say, do not pay off your debt. Have some debt. And although I say,
You don't want to have a whole lot of debt. You definitely need to talk to a mortgage lender.
That's what
And
I tell my clients all the time when when they get ready to embark on this journey. I always say, hey, speak with the lender first. And we talk about pre-qualifying all the time, but we really focus on that too because there's so many, I mean, how often do people buy homes in their lifetime? I say this over and over again. Pop quiz.
five.
That's correct. So
Okay.
5 times in a whole lifetime that people may purchase a home. So there's different things that a lender is going to tell you. Whereas if you're thinking about a credit card or buying a car, those are different things. And a home lender is not going to tell you that. There's different requirements. And so where you say pay off, you may say pay down. And
Hmm.
you really need to when you're thinking about buying, get on the same page that your lender is so she can tell you play by play, hey, pay this down to $30, pay this, get rid of this or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, so you can put them on the path to purchase.
Yeah, because some of the times, even let's say you just sold a house and you're thinking, okay, now I'm going to pay off all my debt and then I'm going to get into the new one, right? That's also not a good idea. So apply for your new home
Mm.
while you're in the process of selling your other one. Don't look at me confused, Nicole, because people have it has happened several times where
Who is
people
the agent?
Nicole, why are you always trying to name drop? We're
You
not
did
doing
that.
that, but qualify for your next home
Mhm.
before you sell your first one, and make sure all those things are, in line because sometimes, people get in.
Oh my goodness, you right. I did talk to someone that they were looking for a home and their agent told them to sell their home, but and then they got ready to buy one and they couldn't buy one. So they had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But the agent didn't tell them that they only sold their home.
Yeah,
It's
it's
terrible.
happened. It's happened a few times. So again, do not pay off all your debt in
Hmm.
order to buy a house. Let's talk about it, get a plan together,
Yeah.
and before we, pay off our debt and then actually put us in a situation that is unfavorable.
Okay. Okay. So that's that. My next myth is um, you don't need an agent.
Mhm.
There's so many people that think that you can, you're driving around or you happen to jump on Zillow and you find a home that you like and you want to go see it. So it's that we're just door openers,
Mm.
that real estate agents are door openers. I know that's not a lot of the people that are listening now. I don't think that they think that, but
We have smart
we
listeners.
have smart listeners. But there are some people that do think that real estate agents are door openers. And that is definitely not the case. There are so many things that go into home buying and you looking for a home. So when I do get a call, perhaps it's from Zillow or someone that's just driving by and may have seen my sign. There's several questions that are going to be asked prior to going to go open a door, and that's not. It's to protect me, to protect you, and to put us on the same page as far as what your goal is. If you are just, looking and a lot, obviously, that's part of the process is looking. So I want to help you look, but I also want to be educated in what you're looking for so I can help you find it.
It's almost like that. I want to say it's the least, when I actually hear customer, when I hear people, even customers say, yeah, sure, I'll go open that door for you. It's almost like I gasp because I'm like, did you really just say you would go open the door for them and you haven't gone through any steps of pre-qualifying? You don't know if they can buy a house. You don't know what the payment range is. You have no idea. It's just like, yeah, I'll go open that door. Or on the other side, the customer saying, yeah, I just need them to open the door because I live around the corner. And I'm renting, and so I just need somebody to open the door and make sure this is what I want. No, you need them. Yes, okay, let's get them to open the door. But after that, that's when when the real show begins because that's when you start talking about money. That's when you start negotiating. That's when you start talking about repairs, appraisals, home inspections. I mean, all the things. That's when the real work, Nicole has to really dive in because then she's going to go through the education process of is the home worth what they're selling it to you for? Is it a good location? What's your future plans with it? I mean, goodness. So,
I mean, because taking consideration, if I didn't ask that question to you, what is your purpose? What are you doing? I mean, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're entrusting me to just go open a door. It can't be the case. There's so many different aspects to purchasing, whether you're buying. next month or a year from now, these questions are going to need to be asked in order to propel you to get to that process or to get to that home or get wherever you're trying to go. So I think the door opener thing is a definite X.
Okay, 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 my turn. You always want, I hear this, you always want to pick the lowest rate. That's what I'm looking for. Cherie, I'm looking for the lowest rate. Can you send me a loan estimate that has the lowest rate? Because that I'm going to get about 3 or 4 different opinions, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, your loan estimate. Get one for sure. But I've had agents, consumers, obviously, people ask for this document, and almost when you ask for that document, it is
Cringe.
yeah, it is. It's a cringe because it's a telltale sign of
You don't know.
you don't know, you're shopping for something you really
Don't have any idea.
yeah, no, no. Do you go to when you go to the doctor and the doctor hands you your x-ray or a diagnosis, you're reading it and you're thinking, what in the heck did I just, what does it mean? It says you have a headache. Well, you just read all this different explanation of what's really wrong with you, and it's boil down to a headache, but you thought, you have cancer and,
You got 6 months.
6 months,
You
you're
got
going to be
6 months
dead.
left.
Yeah. So the loan estimate is the least of my concerns or your concerns. We need to talk about what your expectation is for your monthly payment, what your expectation is to spend in closing costs. We have to ask other questions that get to that point of the lowest rate. Because if I say, yeah, I can get you a 5% interest rate. Oh my gosh, well, I just compared and the other person told me they can give me a 5.25 and the other one said 6% and you said 5. I'm going with you. You have the lowest rate. When the what do I say, brass tacks, however you want to say, when the rubber meets the road, when you see what it costs to get to that 5%, the lowest rate that you were looking for, well, that's going to be surprising because then I'm going to come back with, yeah, I can give you that 5%, but it's going to cost you $30,000 to get there. Did you really want the lowest rate? No. That's not important anymore because your cash to close is now important. So lowest rate is not always the most important question to ask, and it's almost like the last question because between your agent and your lender, they should be partnering together and talking about what that is. What? Go
What
ahead.
is the most important question to ask?
Oof, what is the most important?
What is the most important?
Well, I guess I would, if I were shopping for a mortgage loan, I would talk to my real estate agent and I would talk to them about who they partner with. That would be very important for me to ask because as we work together, I know how critical it is for me to explain as a lender how to the real estate agent what I need. And then Nicole goes and fights for it. So your real estate agent and your lender, to me, that relationship is going to be important. And I would also, I mean, I have to look at the volume that they close. I would want to know how many deals are we getting to the closing table monthly. I would want to know. I mean, gosh, there's a lot of questions, but that relationship between the real estate agent and their lender is going to be really important to me.
Hmm.
Um,
I think the most important question that I find myself asking you is what is the amount of closing cost for my buyers? And that's because most people are focused on what their monthly payment is going to be. So, in order to navigate through that, we need to know what the closing costs amount are going to be that are going to help. That closing cost also can help with your interest rate. So, when you're comparing things, I think that's important to compare is closing cost. That way we can navigate through what your monthly payment's going to look like. That's going to go with your interest rate, and there's a lot of things to go into that.
Yes, so we definitely will talk about that with your agent and and the borrower. I will, get to that point and we'll talk about what's important for them. And then the loan estimate will come out and it will personify what we talked about. It will then be in black and white of what our discussion was. And I always tell people that I'm not going to surprise you with numbers. I'm not going to come back and say, "Oh gosh, now you need $15,000 to close, and I told you you only needed X amount of dollars." That's a hard conversation to have with anybody. You can play with a lot of things, but you can't play with people's money. So I have learned that very early on in my in my career
Right.
that you get those numbers right and you give a little bit of grace up or down, and that's what I tell my customers that our numbers are going to be there's going to be a little bit of grace up or down, but for the most part, they're going to be pretty close. And we're not coming back to you and telling you you need thousands of dollars. When that loan estimate, you see it at the beginning, it's going to be very similar to the end, and hopefully a little bit lower because people like lower. They don't like higher, but they'll take the lower. So that's one of the myths is, I want to shop for the lowest interest rate. Don't shop for the lowest interest rate.
Okay. Next on the list is all agents are the same.
Mm. All agents are the same. Is that's like saying you go get a hamburger and everywhere you get the hamburger is going to be the same. McDonald's hamburger is not the same as
And,
a.
and I don't think that people actually go
Oh,
around actually saying all agents are the same, but
oh, I've
they,
heard that.
oh,
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, I just picked a real estate agent because I was, going down the road and I saw a real estate sign, but they didn't really do any. That's great that, real estate
that's
agent.
great.
It's great that real estate agents are putting their information out there. That's important. They're marketing, they're selling houses. I get it. But we can't just say all agents are the same because they have a sign in the yard. They're not all the same.
Right. So I think as a consumer, to get rid of that myth that all agents are the same. Oh, my friend does this part-time. I do this sometimes. I seen this sign in the yard, so they must be doing real estate. They must be doing it very often and frequently and good at it. Um, that's definitely a myth. There's a lot that goes into that process of being an agent.
A
The
good agent.
a good agent and the length of time that an agent 86% of agents are out of the business within the first year of real estate. So I think the test of time is there. You should ask the questions: how long have you been an agent? How frequently do you work with sellers? How frequently do you work with buyers? Can I get some reviews on these people that you've worked with? Maybe can I have a phone number? Can I call them? Can I ask them questions about your work ethic and how helpful you were or not? I think these are good questions to ask as you are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars looking for an agent in a home.
Now that's different. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard of can I get that's like uh, not a resume, but when you
Why not? I mean, why
not
not?
not the resume, but what is it called? When you call and get a reference, excuse me.
Mm.
So a
Get a
reference. Right.
reference.
Okay, you know what? I'll call Mrs. Smith. She's gonna give me. I mean, you got to have a reference when you're, renting somewhere, when you're going for jobs, employment, things like that. References are important, right?
Mhm.
So you know what? I like it. I like it. Call, so and so, and you can verify my work ethic. I sold that house in 35 days. I did, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's super important, and I think it's a good tool to have in your back pocket. Why not? Your number's already out there, so you should have people there to validate what you're saying and your work ethic. So that's my thing. All agents aren't the same. We are not created equal.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind. Noted. As if I didn't know. Okay. My next one is going to be student loan debt. I can't buy a house because I have too much student loan
Mm.
debt, which I have had frequently because, which I'm happy people are going out there getting an education, and bettering themselves and our society. So I'm excited about it.
Productive members of society.
Yeah, we got them out there. The issue with that is though, I don't want customers to feel like I can't buy a house now because I have student loan debt. And I've had doctors, teachers, nurses, all alike, thinking that they would, not be able to qualify because of the student loan debt. Now, a few years ago, that was a thing. It was kind of a situation where people weren't unable to qualify because of student loan debt. However, there have been new programs implemented and new guidelines that have also begun that has allowed those student loan debt to be counted differently, and so counted at a lesser amount of monthly payment or estimated monthly payment, so that those people can qualify now. So if you had student loan debt, I wouldn't say that is a deal killer. It is very unlikely that you're going to call me and I'm going to say you can't qualify because you have too much student loan debt.
We're in the business of saying yes,
That's so true. We want to say yes,
but
and
don't disqualify yourself.
let
Let someone else disqualify you.
yeah, for sure.
Qualify you. I mean, and we just said we are in the business of saying yes. So don't
Yeah.
make that
It's
decision
more of an
alone.
education,
Yeah.
it's more of an education of how you are able to qualify more as more than, disqualifying you. We don't want to disqualify you. We want to educate you on how we are going to qualify you. So that
Hmm.
will be done in the time that you spend with me. We can, get that figured out pretty quickly. So loan debt, don't worry about it. Let us.
Okay, I got it. I don't think I have anything else right now. For myths, is there anything else that you would like to add that you feel is very important to our listeners?
Few.
A few.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so people ask, well, just going back to that student loan debt, they kind of say, now I've graduated, so I got to be at my job, or I need to be at my job for 2 years before I buy a house.
Oh
That
yeah,
that
that
is
is a very common thing that comes up. I've talked to a lot of buyers that say, "Oh, I only been at this job for 6 months," but and then you have to ask follow up questions. So we can't just leave it at that. We ask follow up questions and find out, oh, they've been somewhere else for a year and a half, and we add and add and add, and here we are.
Yeah, most people are able to qualify, even if you've just graduated. That's a good reason. We want to give you a home now. You've done the work. You've graduated. You have your education. Now you are going from making pennies to, to now being able to have a job. And a career, I would say.
Yes.
So don't worry about the 2 year history. We will figure that out for you. Even if you say, well, another myth is they think that I have to be at the same job for this, for 2 years. I don't know. I'm not. That's not going to be a deal killer either. If you've been working for 2 years, it's most likely we're going to put it together. Now, I've had people, literally had a customer that was a nurse in another state, excuse me, and she came to Texas, and she's like, I'm done with being a nurse. I don't want to be one. Well, okay, well, what's the new career? I'm going to work at Sefco. You're going to work at Sefco.
That is a career change.
That
That
is.
is.
I would have never thought. She's like, I had to get out of healthcare. It was too stressful. She was older, and spent many years in that career. And she was just done with it. She's like, I don't want the stress. I want to, be able to work a normal schedule and not crazy hours. And I can go to Sefco and literally work from 7 to 4 o'clock, and I don't have to worry about it. I'm just checking people in and out. And okay,
Well, hopefully
that
she don't run into Ava Grace at the Sefco
well.
because that's stressful.
Or dad, or our father. If you run into this, what she didn't know. She don't know what she don't know.
She don't know what she don't know.
Okay, so I need to follow up
Well,
with
I was
her.
gonna say, let's go ahead and do a follow-up
We
call,
see and see if she's still
a
there.
wellness check.
Seriously, she don't even know. So, but she had thought, and actually, I've had even people in my same, as a loan officer, they thought, how, Cherie, you can't go from a nurse to working at Sefco. She
You
had to
put it
be
together. You trying to tell me you put this
put
together?
that together quick, fast, and a heartbeat. We had to get her a job.
And
I
she,
mean, I'm not a job,
a
excuse me. We
house.
had to get her a home. We had to get her home. So I'll put it together. Don't you worry about it. We'll find a way to relate those two jobs, and by God, we did. And
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 she'd been in the house.
yeah, a couple years.
Now, this wasn't my client, so I can't speak on this, but this was yours, and you did help her get in a home, so you
Yeah.
made it work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I am not scared
Ain't nothing
about.
to it but to do it.
Exactly. We'll figure out how to get your line of work to, because that is a question that it is a guideline that that we should be able to put those together. We
Stay in
need
the
to
guideline.
stay in the same line of work. Well, nursing and Sefco have the same line of work. If y'all didn't know, now you know. Okay,
Okay.
so that's what I want to talk to y'all. That one, and then bankruptcy or foreclosure. People think, well,
Mm.
I've had a bankruptcy, I've had a foreclosure, I can't buy a house. That's a myth. You can buy a house. There has to be some time depending on your situation,
The type of bankruptcy, right?
type of bankruptcy. It's going to depend on the loan type, FHA, conventional, VA. Well, specifically, we can go over those details once you talk to your loan officer. There's different scenarios that we can get you into home, but 1 or 2 years, let's talk about it. If it's been more than that, you might be ready to buy a house. So you don't have to wait 5, 6, 7 years. Give us a call. Let's figure it out. Let's kind of put a plan together, and you may be closer than you think.
I like to hear it.
So I mean, those are my myths for now. I think there are some, they're out there, and people are, thinking, well, I need to wait. You don't need to wait. It's prime time to buy a house.
And so.
and sell and sell because you got to get to your next, right?
Destination. Yep.
Next destination. Destiny is waiting.
Oh, wow. Density is waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for today. So we want to thank y'all so much for joining the Twincast. If y'all love today's episode, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family that want to do the same, chasing their home ownership dreams.
Yes.
Get them in the plan.
Until next time, keep dreaming big, planning smart, and remember, with the right team, you hold the keys.
Bye.